Today we're at Moon Township Ford to check out one of my favorite and most underrated vehicles in the Ford lineup, talking about the Ford Flex. Unfortunately, Ford has decided to discontinue the Flex model after 2019, so today we're going to be checking out this 2018 all-wheel drive Limited powered by a 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. So what I really like about this Ford Flex is with the twin turbo EcoBoost, you can do this. So I personally really like the Flex. I like its refrigerator styling. It doesn't look like anything else on the road. Unfortunately, this is the last year, 2019. It's going to be the last year for the Ford Flex. Ford is going to discontinue it. This is an 18 used model, but it's pretty much identical to the 19. They didn't really change it at all. They haven't really changed it much throughout its lifespan. They did a little bit of interior updates, but that's about it. So, now it has Sync 3 and, it's got the Sony sound system, stuff like that, but nothing major has changed. As you can see, I wish the seats were a little more contoured. They're pretty flat. They're supportive, but not super supportive. With 365 horsepower, you can get a little crazy. You might need a little bit more support. But it rides nice on the road. It handles fairly well. Most of them have lower profile tires. So it's basically an oversized station wagon, which I like. I like station wagons. So this was just a little bit bigger with a taller roof. So it has seating for 7. There's not a ton of room behind the third row when it's up, like most SUVs. If you want more room, you gotta go to a minivan. But we'll show you that when we do the walk around. But other than that, I really like the car. It's got a lot of room. It's fast for what it is, and handles pretty well, rides nice. It's got a lot of good qualities going for it as far as that goes. It's a perfect family hauler. I wish people would have bought more of them. That way Ford would have kept making them. We didn't sell a ton of new ones, but we sell the used ones we get usually within the first week they're on the lot. Like I said before, we didn't sell a ton of new ones, but the used ones fly off the lot pretty quick. We actually have 5 in stock right now. And when they were new, you could actually custom order them with different colored roofs and mirrors and wheels, which really make them unique. Here's some footage of the Ford Flex in action. This 2018 Ford Flex Limited is finished in ingot silver metallic over dune leather interior. Like I said before, it's powered by the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine, which is backed by a 6-speed automatic transmission, and this vehicle also features all-wheel drive. Now let's check out the interior. Ford didn't go too crazy on the overall styling on the interior, but it's packed with features. This one has adjustable pedals and power adjustable steering column. It has paddle shifters on the steering wheel as well. All the radio controls and cruise control are located on the steering wheel. It has an analog speedometer and 2 digital windows on each side. It has a nice large touchscreen with navigation and Sync 3. Also has heated and cooled seats. Climate controls are pretty straightforward, and it also has the auto park feature, which will parallel park the vehicle all by itself. Now let's check out the back seat. There are climate controls back here as well for the rear passengers. There are 2 cup holders and 2 power points. In the ceiling, there are vents for the air conditioning. There's also a fold-out center armrest. When the seats are folded down, you have a nice flat cargo space. The seats fold forward to ease access to the third row. Has a power liftgate. You can see the backup camera right there in the center. And as you can see, there are massive cargo space, and since it's a big square box, the roof is very high. This one also has the power folding third row option, which is really handy. You can fold them together or individually. But as I mentioned earlier, when the third row is up, the cargo space is very limited. When new, this Flex stickered for $47,290. Here's a quick POV drive. Because the Ford Flex is lower than the typical SUV, it handles much more like a car than a truck. Look at the 3.5 liter twin turbo EcoBoost V6 engine. It puts out 365 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. The normally aspirated V6 is no slouch either at 287 horsepower, but the EcoBoost is definitely where it's at. This engine requires 6 quarts of conventional 5W30 motor oil and an FL500 oil filter. Here's a look at the flex up on the lift. All the Flexes have the dual exhaust coming out the back no matter which engine you choose. Here's a look at the rear sway bar end links, the rear calipers, rear shocks and springs, rear axle shafts. Rear lower control arms. This one has a manual emergency brake, not an electronic one like the newer cars. As you can see, it's pretty much dual exhaust from front to back. Here's goes into the catalytic converters. Here's a look at the front suspension. It's the bottom of the transmission. Front lower control arm and outer tie rod ends. Has 2 piston calipers up front. And it has this nice big shield you have to remove to change the oil. Walking towards the back of the vehicle, you can get a better look at the exhaust. You can also see the rear coolant and AC lines. There's the saddle style fuel tank. And another look at some of the rear suspension components. Well, that's pretty much it for under here. The most popular wheel size is 20 inch. It'll come with a 255 45 20 inch tire. So that wraps up this review of the Ford Flex. Like I said, this is the last year for this vehicle, so if you want a new one, you better act fast. As always, thank you for checking out my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and have a great day.